Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be giving you a simple way to use triad pairs in your improvisation. What are triad pairs, you may be asking? Well, it's a pair of triads. And more specifically, in this case, I'm going to be using a pair of major triads. A major triad is built off the first, the third, and the fifth scale degrees in a major key or a major scale. There are many different ways to play triad pairs and use them in your improvisation. And in this video, I'm going to be specifically talking about a pair of two major triads to use over two separate types of chords and two separate sounds in your improvisation. Just before I get into it though, if you haven't yet checked out my completely free masterclass called The Best Way to Create Melodic Solos, what are you waiting for? The link is right at the top of the description down below, and inside of that masterclass, I go over my simple 6-step voice leading process that will instantly make your solos sound better. Along with that, I have another free gift for you. The PDF that I'm going to be going over in this video that corresponds to everything I'm talking about is downloadable and is completely free, and that link is also in the description down below. So the two major triads I'm going to be talking about today are the E flat major triad and F major triad. Now this concept and this skill can be applied to any two major triads that are a whole step apart, so C major triad and D major triad, or G major triad, A major triad. Any of those work. I'm just focusing on E flat and F to make things simple in this video. Here's what each of those triads sound like. Okay, that's great. That's what they sound like, but how can you actually use them in improvisation? The first sound and first chord I'm going to be talking about is the dominant 7th chord. There are many different ways to play over a dominant 7 chord, but I'm going to be talking about how to use major triad pairs to play over them in a very simple way. The way to do it is to look at that dominant 7th chord. In this case, we're going to be looking at F7, and what you're going to do is build a major triad based on the flat 7 and the root. So in this case, we're going to take F7 and we're going to take the flat 7 of that is E flat. So we're going to play that E flat major triad. And then the root of F7 is F. So we're going to play an F major triad. If you're wondering what the literal chord tones are of each of those triads in relation to the F7, the E flat major triad, the note E flat is the flat 7, the G is the 9, and the B flat is the 11. And then when you have the F major triad, you just have F is the root, A is the 3rd, C is the 5th. So if you really look close, we're actually just playing the 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, and 11 of the F7 chord. We're basically just adding the upper structure triad to the F major triad. You might be saying, well, isn't this sort of a Mixolydian scale just broken apart and just omitting the 13? And yes, technically, but once again, when you just equate a chord with a scale or a scale with a chord, you really play in one sound in one linear way in this case. What I'm showing you is how to use a specific sound like the triad pairs sound to create a new type of sound and color and shape to your solos. The best way to really get this shape under your fingers and really implement the sound is to actually play those triads all the way up the instrument in inversions. What I mean by that is this: you'll play the E flat triad in root position, then the F triad in root position. Then you'll go to the E flat triad in first inversion, F triad first inversion, then the E flat triad in second inversion, and finally the F triad in second inversion. Here's what that sounds like over a backing track of just the chord F7. So I think that's a pretty cool sound, but we can expand it a little further. Those are just the inversions of the triads, but you can take it the full range of your instrument. And here's what it sounds like when you do that over the F7. Once you're able to play those triad pairs with inversions, now it's time to actually solo using this sound. The best way to do this is isolate a harmonic sound, in this case, F7, and only use those triad pairs when soloing. Don't add any other notes, don't add enclosures, chromatic notes, nothing. Just try to focus on those two major triad pairs. Even though you're focusing on just playing those notes, that's only one part of it. You should really be putting the main focus now into the non-note musical elements like rhythm, intervals, phrasing, articulation, dynamics, things like that, which actually create music. Here's what it sounds like when I improvise only using those two triads, the E flat major and F major triad, over a backing track of only F7. right, so what do you think about that sound? I really enjoy using that in my playing, and if you haven't done it yet, I really encourage you to try it. In the beginning of this video, I said we're gonna be using multiple sounds using this one concept, so what else can we do? Well, we can actually use those same two triads over a major 7 chord. So if the E flat major triad and F major triad work over F7, they actually both also work over E flat major 7. How does that work? Well, if we want to actually break it down analytically, the E flat major triad is the 1, the 3, the 5 of E flat major 7. And then when you have the F major triad, the F is the 9, the A is the sharp 11, and the C is the 13th. The sharp 11 sound is very common when playing over major 7 chords, and a lot of people might refer to it as a Lydian sound because the Lydian scale is sharp 4, but once again, you're pigeonholing yourself into just saying you're gonna play a scale if you say it is a Lydian sound. I like to call it the sharp 11 sound because that's literally what it is. So this means instead of taking the chord and basing triads off the root and the flat 7, in this case, we're taking triads based off the root and the 2nd scale degree. I'm gonna prove to you that it works really well. Now I'm gonna play back the same recording of me playing that exercise written on the page over, instead of an F7, over an E flat major 7. All right, can you hear that sound? Now I'm gonna play the full range of that exercise once again over the E flat major. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And yes, you probably guessed it. Now finally, I'm gonna play back that same solo that I took over the F7 chord, literally the exact same recording, but now instead of the backing track being an F7 chord, the backing track is only gonna be E flat major 7. Check out what it sounds like. I think it's so cool to be able to learn one concept or one skill and apply it to different situations to create a completely different sound. This is really the whole basis of the way I like to teach, which is really make things concise, efficient, and simple, and then figure out where you can apply those concepts to create everything that you want to play. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this is not the be-all, end-all of triad pairs when improvising. I'm actually going to be doing another video, or actually multiple videos, a little bit later on different versions of triad pairs, not even just major triads either. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it is helpful for you in your improvisation journey. If you haven't tried this concept yet, either over the dominant chord or over the major chord, please give it a shot and let me know how it works out for you. Also, let me know what other concepts and topics you want to see me discuss here, whether it's related to improvisation, saxophone specifically, or anything else music related. Don't forget to go down in the description below to get my masterclass, The Best Way to Create Melodic Solos, as well as the PDF to this video, both completely free. Thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.